'Twas a dark and spooky night. I was walking into my house, and all I could hear was someone saying, "Bloody finger." I wanted to watch TV and have a snack, but I was a little bit nervous about the sound. I sat down on the couch and I heard, "Bloody finger," and I thought, where's it coming from? I checked in the kitchen. Nowhere. Bloody finger. I ran upstairs, running into my bedroom. Nothing was there. Bloody finger. It was getting louder, and I ran into my parents' room. Nothing there, but the sound was louder. Bloody finger. And I ran into their bathroom, and there, as I turned on the light, was my little sister. I'll open the blind so you can see. It was my little sister, and she was saying, "Bloody finger. I got a paper cut. I need a Band-Aid." So I don't know if you know anything about scary stories. Mine didn't turn out to be super scary. It ended up being that my little sister actually had a paper cut and needed a Band-Aid. So we are going to write a little fun spooky story just this week, but here's the deal. If you're not a big fan of like super spooky stories, yours doesn't have to be super spooky. It can be like my story where it ended up being that my little sister needed a paper cut. That she just needed a Band-Aid because she had a paper cut. That's it. Okay? So we're just going to have a little bit of fun with this, and then your teacher is going to take your writing that you've typed up and finalized by the end of the week. We'll put it in a Google slideshow, and we'll share it on our Schoology pages so that you can go and look at it, and you can click and pause, and you can read all the stories. And that way, for the week after this one, right before Halloween, you've got all these fun, spooky stories to read. So I do have my blinds open as much as I can, but they're kind of being a poop. So luckily you can see me a little bit, but more important, you can see what I'm working on down here. So that's our little introduction. I've got a little bit of haunting music. Really, it's just instrumental music that we're listening to, like old piano. All right, so I got my spiral notebook out. Yours may not be yellow. That's okay. You just need your spiral. You know it's a spiral because it has metal here. And I'm just going to turn to the middle and pull out a page. This is what I'm going to do my pre-write on. And today my goal is to finish my entire pre-write. That is my goal today. Okay, so it's just a spooky story and outline. But remember, yours doesn't really have to be super spooky if you're not into super spooky stuff, okay? And that's okay. I'm not into super spooky stuff, which is why my story ended up being about my little sister needing a Band-Aid. Okay, so remember, we've got our big rectangle. I've got my box up top. This is my introduction of my story. And then we've got 3 more boxes here. I know I'm going a little fast. Remember, you can pause me. Okay, this is what happens first, or the beginning of our story. This is the middle, and this is kind of the end. And then this is our conclusion. My conclusion box ended up being really big, but I'm okay with that. Now, I know it's kind of hard to see, but this says, see if I slide it over, if you can see it a little bit better. Oh, that's a little bit better. I just jotted down first, middle, end to remind my brain. You don't have to if you don't want to, okay? So my introduction, if you're thinking back to my story, I said it was a dark and windy night, I think, something like that. That's what I'm going to do. It was a dark and windy night. And yours could just be about maybe someone lost their friend, or maybe they got lost trick-or-treating and they were scared, and then they found their grown-up and then they were totally fine. It doesn't have to be a super spooky, scary story at all, because like me, you may not be into scary stories. I am not. I don't like watching scary movies. I don't like reading scary books. So yours doesn't have to be a super scary, spooky story, okay? And we're totally fine with that. Mrs. Huff and myself, and your other teachers, Mrs. Cedarland, and I know that Mrs. Roberts is filling in for Mrs. Johnson right now. We're all okay with it being not super scary at all, okay? So I said it was a dark and windy night, and that was just to make it kind of exciting to explain the night and to describe it. You can decide what you would like to do, your choice. the wind was howling. I don't know. However you want to say it. Maybe you really don't want to do a spooky story, so you're going to say it was a nice fall day, and that's okay too. All right. So I'm going to say it was a dark and windy night. And instead of coming home, I think I'm already going to be at home. Let's see. I was at home watching TV. And then maybe I'll add more details there about maybe having a snack or something. I'll figure that out when I revise and edit. First, I'm going to say that's when I heard someone say, someone say bloody finger in a high-pitched voice. Because when my little sister was little, she did have a higher pitched voice. She sounded like this because she was a little girl. So I'm going to say that. And I know that my light is really hard, but I'm trying to give as much light as I can. But you guys kind of know how to do this already. This is now the second narrative story that we're doing, and you guys have already done this for a narrative and an informational. So kind of guessing that you know it, but remember, don't panic if I'm going fast. The cool thing about virtual learning is that you can stop me, pause me, whatever. Stop, don't panic, just pause, okay? Remember, I'm going faster for some kids that are working faster and already know what to do and what they want to write. And then for those kids that are taking more time, you pause me, okay? So now in the middle, I'm going to add more details, obviously, because I'm in 3rd grade and I know I need details, but I'm just getting my outline, my pre-write. In the middle, this is where I'm just going to jot down the note, search for voice. And I think I'm going to I'm in 3rd grade, I'll pick 3 places. I'm going to check the kitchen, my room, and my parents' room. And in the end, check the bathroom. And it was my little sister. And I'm just jotting down notes, you guys. I'm writing pretty fast. I'm not writing super neat, and that's okay. You're just jotting down notes. I am going to have my little sister talking during this time, saying bloody finger as I search, which I have literally, she did this when we were little. She'd stand in the bathroom and she'd go, the finger! And she'd like scream, cry for my mom to come and help her with her finger. So that's what made me think of this story. So maybe you can even think of something that's happened to you, like a bee sting or something, and you could turn it into kind of a spooky story, but then it was just a bee sting. So you can make it as spooky as you want or not. Just remember, it can't be super scary or gruesome where we talk about anything like real blood kind of stuff, because that would be inappropriate for school. So remember, even though we're virtual learning, you are still technically in school. So make sure that whatever you're talking about is something that would be appropriate for school. And if you aren't sure, feel free to email your teacher and just say, hey, I'm thinking of writing about this. Is this okay? We're not trying to get you in trouble, but we do want to make sure that we're appropriate, even though we're virtual learning. Okay. And it was my little sister. She cut her finger and needed a Band-Aid. You guys want to see something funny here? I'm going to turn this a little bit. Nope, this way. There's my cat. Talk about being kind of spooky. Charlie, what are you doing over there? You just watching Mom all weird like in the window? He's like, yes, one day I will eat that pencil. He likes to chase the pencil that I have. All right. So I'm going to just finish up my conclusion. My conclusion is, so I got my sister a Band-Aid, and then we sat down and watched TV. Maybe I'll add something about eating the snack, maybe popcorn or something. But anyways, this is my pre-write. Your job today is just to do a pre-write of your spooky story. Remember, we're trying to do this one in a week. It doesn't have to be as long as the ones we've written in the past, but we sure would like to see some details. Okay, not just 5 sentences, maybe shoot for 10 sentences. Okay, mine doesn't have a super lot of detail, but it still has some. Okay. All right, guys, remember, this can be as spooky as you want it to be, as long as it's appropriate, or it can be, you know, just maybe something that seems spooky, but maybe it really isn't. Like my little sister cutting her finger, and I just turned it into a spooky story. When really, I think it was daytime when she did it. And I think I already knew that she was there, and I heard her, she wasn't really saying bloody finger. She's going, my finger got cut. So I just changed it a little bit. Charlie, are you doing weird things in the background? Yeah, there he is. All right, guys, so have fun. Remember, if you have a question, if you're worried if it's appropriate or not, you can always email your teacher, but I think you guys are pretty smart. All right, kiddos, Mrs. Heffa signing off. Have fun, and I will see you tomorrow for the next part of our spooky fun story this week. Remember, it can be as spooky as you want, but it doesn't necessarily have to be if you're not into spooky stories like me. All right, guys, see you later.